Traders, happy Monday. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Pulver Report. It is March 18th. Let's get started for this morning's session. We know there's risk in trading. You know the deal. Let's talk stocks, options, forex, cryptos. Let's dive into the charts. Uh, Pre-market on the SPY. I'm not getting a feed of TradingView for some reason, but looking at the Qs are looking to open up quite a bit higher this morning. I mean, here's Tesla $7 higher this morning. Trying to get a SPY feed. SPY 513, $4 higher this morning. So it's going to be an interesting start to the day. Big week. We have 4 central bank rate decisions, including the Reserve Bank of Australia, the Bank of Japan, the Fed, and the Swiss National Bank, all kicking off today or this week. So plenty of volatility ahead. We have technical corrections that are likely due. The Nvidia gap is right in here in green, 498 on the upside and 495 on the downside. Actually, I take that back. It's the Nvidia gap is right in here. I'm not sure why my chart's not reading that, but 503 down to about 498, that $5 gap. So it should be popping up on this, but you can see it on. Maybe I've got to be on the daily chart here. This will be a little bit easier to read. TradingView, what is up? Here's the Nvidia gap. So there's a low, there's a high. That was a Wednesday to Thursday gap. Vulnerable to the downside if we break the floor from last week. A lot of volatility this week. We could have just a large spike if the market doesn't want to go anywhere but high volatility. The average weekly move on the SPX has been about 106 points. And I'm going to see how things kind of get shuffled around this morning. So I have some positions on SPX. I have positions on SPY. I have positions on XSP and QQQ and DIA. So I'm looking to have some exposure. Those expirations are going out to the 22nd, the 25th, the 28th, and also the 5th. So staggered out. We'll see if I can time this well enough over the next couple of weeks or this week's trading to generate some returns and see where things are at. So expiration that I have running on a couple of debit spreads of 512 to 525, 508 to 495, and then also a 507 to 480. And on the Q side, I have the 439. See if I have this written down on my charts. If not, I can tell you what I have here. QQQ. I have a 440 by 455 and a 435 by 420. Those are both debit spreads. So looking to see on the downside. I'm not sure why the feed are so freaking slow this morning. There we go. To the upside, 440 to 455. So if we try to come back and poke all-time highs, or we breach this low from last week on Friday at 432 and push down and start filling this gap, 429. Yeah, that's going to be close. We'll see. So everything that I see on the daily chart, weekly chart, overbought, oversold, overbought is overbought with divergence. So technically, like I said, due for a bit of a correction, a pullback. Anything in the 3 to 5% range seems reasonable. We've been having like little 1.5% pullbacks, pauses, if you will, because in the weekly time frame, we had a nice little streak here, about 16 of 18 weeks in a row, and now we have 16 of, I think, 20. Let me see how many weeks this is. I think we have 20 weeks now. 19 bars, so 16 or 15 of 19. Is that right? 1, 2, 3. So if I'm counting 16 bars, I've got 4 reds. So 15 of 19 weeks. It was 16 of 18, but anyway, doesn't matter. It's been mostly bullish. We know that. Okay, let me bring up the chat. Say good morning, everybody. Howdy, howdy. Good morning, Chris. Good morning, Angela. Good morning, Keith. FK Jacob, good morning. Jan, good morning. Ian, good morning. Jason, what's happening? Japanese yen go to zero. Sure. Uh, John Mark, good morning. Gary, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. All right. Yep, let's take a look. So gold and silver, let's go dollar index. Dollar index still a bit of a indecision nightmare. We had a big poke on Friday last week on the dollar. Here's the currency strength chart from Friday. So euro, Swiss, and dollar on top. We had Aussie, JPY, and New Zealand on the bottom. Pretty decent pop to the upside on Thursday, Friday last week. Still kind of indecisive. I'm torn on the pattern here. Is this a support level, left tip, center tip? And this is the right tip where the dollar starts to gain bids. Weakness in the stock market usually translates into higher dollar. Central bank wise, I mean, the Fed is likely going to pause. I know they're going to probably talk it down. Powell's messaging has been pretty consistent. Is the Fed in a position where they need to cut rates? Not necessarily. We had inflation data last week just to show it, right? We had PPI data, CPI data, stickier. So it just depends on if the Fed is going to be focused on growth and GDP this year, or they're going to focus on inflation. Are they kicking inflation down the road a little bit, saying we'll, continue to monitor inflation, blah blah blah. I don't know. We'll find out on Wednesday if you want to check it out live. But dollar index, nevertheless, like I said, is it this pattern? Is that the pattern where we're going to get a push to the upside? We come back into this, support resistance area 105.55 to 107. I could see us getting some gains. We're in that season. We're in the seasonality window with pre-summer pushes and trends in the forex market. So if the dollar maintains bid, okay, fine. But that being said, we have this low. We have this low. Is this a topping pattern where the dollar starts to head lower? I'm not sure. That's what's been so hard to read about this, because we have days like this and this and this where the dollar looks like, oh, it's going to be strong, and then we have, two aggressive days to the downside where it's weak. So it has been a tough read this year. I think when the dust settles in the next 2-3 months, we should have some direction that hopefully starts traction today, or not today, this week, because there's so much volatility expected. And we'll see where things go. But watching the dollar closely. Gold and silver. Gold 2160. We just pulled back. I just dragged a fib from this low in February of this year into the highs. I'm looking to see if gold will start seeing some bids pop back in here anywhere in the 236 to the 382 pullback window. I'm looking for trendline break and additional pushing to the upside. I am long. I'm long GLD. I'm long on gold. I think it looks pretty good. I think the measured move and the technicals could be pretty self-fulfilling. Halfway measurements around 2270, and full breakout over a 2-year range would be around 2470. So I'm looking to stay long through the rest of this year on GLD. Provided, I mean, the big is there invalidation level? Well, sure. If we don't hold 2070, that's a concern. And obviously, if we break below this recent low at 2000, that's a huge concern. But I'm looking for that to continue. Even if we go sideways and we create this really nice bull flag, I'm still looking for gold to continue to stay bid. Okay. Morning, Lee. Good morning, David. So I like gold. Silver also has been performing pretty well as precious metals go, even though it's less precious and more utility. But same thing, looking at consolidation. We had a nice bid off the lows at 22. I have some SLV positions with shares that I own, and those are all doing pretty solid. Also, I'm looking at some put levels, $18, $19. Those are doing well. And the big breakout that I'm looking for is here. If we break above 26, that's my measure move all the way to 35. I think we could have a pretty quick run. If we get a break above this yellow box, then we could have a quick run right back to the highs around $30. Um, there might be some hesitation at that $30 high because of that resistance, but measured move to me is 35. Pull back and push into five. If this is wave one, two, three, what's kind of nice is a wave four and five, we'd still be measuring probably $40+ on silver. So how long does it take? I don't know. It could take 6 months, 12 months. It could take 2 years, right? But the nice thing is if the Bulls get this breakout permission, I think we go pretty quickly, just like we had here. When the mind was made up of the market, we saw that move happen very, very aggressively. Granted, that was a COVID crash and a huge recovery, but I think that also sets the posture for this move to make that follow through to 35. So I like silver and gold. Bitcoin had a wild week last week, 68.6 or 68.2 right now. Pullbacks are still fine. Pullbacks are still, I hope we get them. 60,000 to 50,000, somewhere in there would be some volatile pullbacks. I still like bullish. I still think that, Bitcoin has the capacity and the momentum and the bid right now to possibly hit 100K this year. But it's going to be volatile. I don't think it's going to be simple if, we have some fresh traders coming out of nowhere like, oh, now I'm going to buy Bitcoin for the first time at 70K. They might get shaken out and scared a little bit, but I think 60K, again, just taking this low, this high, looking at some fib levels, keep it very simple. 60K is right around the 236. That's a super shallow pullback. If we have 54, 55,000, that's a 382 pullback. We find equilibrium, that's around 50K. So 50,000 would be great. If price pulls back in a wave structure, look for a trend line break. But I like I said, that 60 to $50,000 to add a little bit more. My thoughts, at least. So I like it. Let's go gold versus silver. Gold has been falling relative to silver, so there's been a slight outperformance in silver as of late. This is something I think we can monitor to see which one is looking better for kind of an outperformance in the near term. If this level holds and we start heading back down to lows, then obviously silver would be outperforming gold in the interim. So if we come back down a little bit, maybe look for gold to make that breakout above 26 and see if we can get that bigger push towards 30 and $35. Okay, we do have some earnings this week. Couple things I wanted to chat about. We have 256 companies reporting earnings. Some notables that I wanted to maybe take a look at for some earnings plays this week. Chewy, I have some shares in Chewy. Have some naked puts in Chewy. Micron is in the semiconductor space. I might look at KB Home, maybe not. The other ones are all Thursday. Darden Restaurants, see kind of the health of restaurants, cost of food, the average consumer going out. The big reveal with inflation is that going out to eat is still expensive. Eating at home, grocery stores not so much, but it sure feels expensive. I barely got a few things at the grocery store the other way. It was like $80, and I think there's nothing left. Anyway, FedEx, Lululemon, Nike also having some earnings this week. So not huge on the earnings side. We're 98, 99% of earnings in for the Q4 thus far. But I read something that we have an AI conference kicking off. Is that what I'm seeing here on Nvidia? Let's see here. Nvidia delivers first batch of chips. Nvidia's up pre-market already like $25. Let me see if there's something I can read up on Nvidia AI conference. And if that's happening in the background, that's going to make for another noisy week. Nvidia AI conference. So we have the #1 conference for developers, GTC 2024. Anticipated keynote by Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang. Over 900 sessions. What? That's big. All right, so this is the GTC 2024 taking over the world. The AI Giants big conference. Oh my gosh. All right, so this is it right here. Anyone wants to check this out? I just think it's noise. Here's Nvidia on the daily chart. Let's go to the weekly chart as well. We have not seen a red candle on Nvidia, by the way, since the start of the year. So this thing just blasted to the upside, going from $500 to, I mean, we almost doubled, like right out of the gates, almost 100%. Nvidia is like number one in all the major indexes right now. And what's insane is the market cap is 2.2 trillion versus Apple at 2.67. I mean, I don't know about you, but that seems a little wild and crazy to me. Tesla pre-market 170. Obviously, I'm not mad about that, having a big jump to the upside. But Tesla's certainly under some scrutiny, and price-wise, it's terrible right now. I mean, it's in a 30+% drawdown since the recent high in December, and it's down about 40%. So we'll see if that pain continues. I might look at rolling out some calls and trying to give myself a little bit more time. If I can get those for some credits, I will. We'll play it out. So anyway, that is that. And we did earnings. Here's the economic calendar for the week. A lot of stuff to take in. So, as I mentioned, we have RBA this week. We have Bank of Japan. We have the Fed. We have the Swiss National Bank. Now, take a look at the forecast. Policy expectations. BOJ, no change. Cash rate for the Aussie, 4.35, no change. CPI comes in for Canada this week. CPI for the UK this week. Here's the Fed. No change. Here's the Swiss National Bank. No change. All these banks are in this pause cycle waiting for the Fed to flinch. I mean, and say flinch, it's like the Fed's been transparent. I mean, the market's anticipating 2 to 3 rate cuts this year. We keep going to the CME watch tool. It's like a 99% chance nothing happens this week, but there will be noise. 99%. Okay. This is likely not going to change. The language, the press conference, all the stuff happening on Wednesday, market's going to digest it however it does. It's going to be volatile. That's what I expect. Price movement, maybe not direction. Price direction, okay, fine. But I do expect some good volatility this week. We also have the quarterly expirations next Thursday. So some heavy positionings likely taking place and seeing the market move around a little bit. May expectation, high probability again, no pause or no rate decision. It's going to be more of a pause. June, it's now about 50-50. Whether we're going to cut or not. This hasn't been decided. Going to July, anticipated first rate cut coming somewhere between June and July. Maybe that's the tester cut at 25 basis points. We don't know. End of the year, however, doesn't really matter. It's like until this really shifts. Right now, this is about a 75 basis points cut or a 100 basis points cut. So that's where I keep saying like that 2 to 3 cut window. It's still anticipated by the end of the year that the Fed's going to be lower by about 1%. Okay, how it gets there, when it gets there, with an election cycle, it is going to be interesting because consistency-wise, typically once a Fed starts a policy change or initiates a policy shift as far as cutting rates or raising rates, they stick with that through an election cycle. So as we get into election in November, if the Fed's going to cut once, they're probably going to cut another 1 to 2 times to keep it consistent and be very price stability conscious. At least that's what history says. So we'll see if they stick with it, right? Okay. Any charts, any discussions you want me to dive into? I want to go into these open interest levels as well for this week. So this is out to the 22nd. We have open interest on the call side at 426,000. Put open interest at 873,000. So does that mean that one direction tugs more than the other? Not necessarily, but you can see them distributed on both sides of current price. So to the upside, back into the all-time highs at 520 plus. To the downside, sprinkled in, 500 or lower. For trading at, 509 to 510, what's the SPY at right now? SPY is at 509.83 from the close, pre-market 513. So what would be a big week? Well, I mean, the average week is about $10.77. A big week would be $12, $13, $15. So let's just say we hit the average around 10 bucks. If we started at 509 from last week's close, pushes down to potentially 499, pushes us up towards potentially 519. 519 is a high, like all-time high, testing those levels once again. 50, let's say 500 to 499, that starts to break some of these recent lows the last 3 weeks. Also starts to push price in the right-hand side of the trend line, right? Making things a little bit more vulnerable. So we will see. Positions that I have, strategy like so, up or down, make some profit. So this is on the SPX. This is on the XSP. I'll be watching those prices closely. I think I got into the SPX was taken end of the day Friday. 322 and 325 expirations got in for a 1340 debit, and then XSP got in for $1.23. XSP trading at 511, and I have, let's see where I'm at position wise. XSP 506 to 500 and 518 to 524. So let me see if I can sneak in a couple of chart alarms. 506 to the downside, 506 to the downside, and 518 to the upside. Those price levels get hit. Interested in grabbing some profit. That was a pretty inexpensive debit for about $1.23. Hopefully that turns into, $2 or better credit wise. Okay. I can keep today's session short and sweet. If I don't have any charts, questions, comments, then I'll wrap it up. And I'm not sure. I don't have the confirmation yet this morning, but I might be live at 10 a.m. with the A1 trading team. And I've got a few things going on this week as well. The the trading battle. There's a trading battle this week I'll be hosting. Boris Schlossberg and Nick Syack will be the pugilists. So it'll be a lot of fun if you want to tune into that. That'll be piggybacking off of FOMC on Wednesday. If you'd like to join the trading battle, you'll see it go live. It's trading battle on YouTube, and that'll be 3 p.m. Eastern time. That'll be right after the Fed. So I think actually Nick and I might be doing a session around FOMC at 2 p.m. or 1:45 p.m. to talk about it, get into the first part of the rate decision and press conference, and then 3 p.m. we'll do the trading battle, which I'm looking forward to. So it'll be a busy week, wild week. Set some chart alarms, buckle up. Things will get moving or shaking, and hopefully we walk away when the dust settles and all will be well. So last week was a good week. Let the robots trade. That's it. No further questions, Your Honor. Okay. All right, sounds good. I'll let you know. Equities on Demand students at normally we have a session at 10 o'clock. If I'm being hit up in the next 5 or 10 minutes by the A1 team, I'll post that in Telegram. I'll post it in my Discord channel as well. If anybody's out there watching for the first time, if you'd like to join my Discord channel, it is a free community group chat. If you want to pop in, let's get a link here that does not expire. Copy. So there's a link if you'd like to join. Pop in, say hi. We have free group chat. Post a blog every week. Anything on Twitter, any analysis, any charts that I like. Education that's available between full strategies, course guides, robots, EAs, all that good stuff out there in the markets. Trading room links, trials, demos, all that good stuff. Also, do a lot of private instruction over the weekends, helping traders out, whatever assets you want to trade, futures, forex, cryptos, options. And then I have some affiliate links out there that are very helpful, save you some bucks, some promo codes. And I'll post a top weekly pick this afternoon, probably around 1 p.m. or 1:30 p.m. today. I was looking at a couple of different stocks. I'm playing. I put in a trade. Did I take it? Yums. I don't know if I took a Yum Brands trade last week. I don't think I did. I didn't like the pricing. I did some cash secured puts on YUM and YUMC. Dutch Brothers was another one that I put in some puts on. SLV, I put in some puts. Let's see. JD.com's working out pretty well. MO's working out pretty well. Okay. Hopefully, I mean, I'm not discouraging the stock, or I'm not encouraging the stock to drop. But I do have some 42s, 42.50s, and 43s on the covered calls. So I'm looking to see, going out to next Thursday, um, if I can get MO to cooperate a little bit and pull back. I don't really want to lose the stock, so I'm looking to see if I give myself a little bit more time. Go out another. I mean, the recent high here is around 44 and change. So I was thinking of rolling. I just didn't, because I'm like, I'm not going to roll this thing for a $3 upside, but pay $1.90 for it. So I can always just get it called away, have $3 or $4 of net profit, and then get back in, reestablish, lower my cost basis. But anyway, I'm watching a couple things. So check it out, stay involved, enjoy the community, and we'll chat soon. All right, I'll let you go for today. Okay, let you go for the session. If I come back on at 10 o'clock, I'll post that in Discord. Equities on Demand students, if I'm doing a 10 o'clock session on my YouTube channel again, tag teaming with A1 Trading, I'll just post that in Telegram and see we'll be on at 11 and have our typical session as usual. Okay, and thanks for being here. Happy Monday. It's going to be a busy week, so get ready. I'm looking forward to trading and hopefully making some bucks. All right. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Bye.